Oi! Guess I went over time a little bit. I was lying on the floor. We have to turn off here. So we have to... Oh. No, I can still. I closed references that I screenshotted. But I... Where is it? There. Yesterday we did the big firefight, which we failed spectacularly. Unless you're supposed to fail. Feels like you're supposed to fail it. Or at least maybe you could fail it less. Stop! Why do you keep fucking up? It's super annoying. There. The fortress. You can see candles planted on a broken rangefinder.
Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. They are not particularly well organized.
Sift through them.
Most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. This disparate digest includes the classic Animal Adventures.
Animal Adventures? Noise.
Popular depictions of man versus nature by amateur naturalists T&T Harpin. Husband and wife. Widely read by people from all walks of life. Who doesn't like nature? Who doesn't want to survive? Among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories, you find a magazine cathodique for electrical engineering. Then it's back to pulp. Light erotica, an international thriller about circuit benders.
Someone's made themselves a home.
Conceptualization, godly. Does anything stand out as unusual? +2, enraged by commies. That's a good screenshot, I think. Dishes stained with sauce and fire. A survivor's kitchen. Books, mostly fantastique, historical fiction. +2 empathy, -1 composure. A moth-bitten bedsheet keeps the wind out. +1 hand-eye coordination shirt. This great blast door must weigh over 10 tons. Rust peels off it.
An old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift, with makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. The cables disappear into the wall to your right. The lieutenant puts his hand on the metal barrel, checking for warmth.
It's cold now, but someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
Pour fuel into the tank. I have fuel? I thought it was an empty can. Where do these wires lead?
Downstairs, somewhere?
What kind of generator is this?
Liquid carbon. I would imagine it takes mazout.
He points to the open fuel cap side of the dynamo. Liquid carbon.
The kind that's favored by vagrants and fuel thieves. It's been a long winter, long and cold.
If anyone stayed here, they'd need a generator.
Tap on the side.
A hollow ring. The canister is empty. Dust falls from the generator and down into the ammo lift.
What does this mean? A generator here.
I don't know. I'm not a philosopher.
I meant, why is it here?
Someone with basic electrical skills has restored it in order to keep the room warm. Maybe it's the fire guy.
The wind outside picks up suddenly, with a faint howl. Inside, it's warm.
Maybe I should close the window blinds. Careful, these stairs have collapsed. This was once an armament rest. Huh? Twin cannons were attached here. Medium distance, large caliber. This hatch is jammed shut.
Green paint flecks off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band, and even a keyboard.
Run your fingers across the keyboard.
The keys rattle like teeth. This keyboard hasn't been functional in decades.
What's this then?
The console of an anti-computation device. The generator upstairs, with wires coming out. They terminate here.
What does this console do?
Urgence, ouvert, allumé, radiodiffusé. Sounds like this device was used to control the electronics here. Maybe it still does.
This device was used to control the electronics in the room. It could open doors, control lights, function as a radio computer.
Water rushes below, far down below. A firing slit. Can't see inside. Must have been a direct hit to take out such a huge chunk. The distant sound of cargo ships. Signal horns echo on the water. The winch is broken. Rust has eaten what remains of the chain.
A strange feeling looking at the water. Maybe you should just wander off into the sea. Leave it all and walk in with a bottle in your hand.
Raise your sight.
In the still mirror of the bay, you see Martinez reflected. Tall edifices of ruins reach into the water, like shimmering towers. And the shacks too. Pine trees and motor lorries, upside down. Islets and posts, like stepping stones, lead into the water in front of you. Go. Step in. It's been too long.
Shake your head. The pain in your pelvis makes you wince. Then you continue. Don't want me to run? Inside of the fortress, you make out the console and the blast door. The depot that supplied this chain is long gone from the coast. LUM fuel canister, an old medicine cabinet, newly stocked with dropamine.
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits like two eyes in the wall.
B triple prime. This looks like a good place to shoot from.
Inspect the mattress.
A single-person mattress, modern, civilian use. Brand name, Marjorie. There's a fuel stain on the cover, along with cigarette burns. And an empty can of beans on the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts.
Pick one out of the can.
The silhouette of a tobacco picker adorns the paper filter. The brand, Tio Moteri. Contemporary Revacholians prefer Juan, a local blend from the southern islands, or Astra, the legendary cigarette from Grad. Tio Moteri is favored by older men for its paper filter tips, sweet smell, and added tar.
Someone's been smoking.
The smoker is a clean person. I didn't see any signs of smoking inside. Keeps it tidy. Prefers to come out here to smoke.
Inspect the wall.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window.
Touch the concrete first.
Quite old and grimy, from years without cleaning by anything other than the rain.
Look through the hole in the concrete.
The springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting. 1 kilometer across the water. The ruins look familiar.
On the left,
A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire. Capeside apartments. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A and 33B.
on the right,
The red chimney and collapsed rear wall of the 4-story tenement in front of the Whirling in Rags, Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 10.
and between the two,
The box-shaped silhouette of the Whirling in Rags. Its sloped roof, a tiny fleck of light catches your eye on the rooftop, sunlight reflecting off the upstairs window of Clausia's room.
there it is.
Do you have a line of sight to the window?
Yes. There's an opening between 33A and 10. I can see to the roof.
I can see it. Through the scope of a rifle. The shooter would be prone, lying on the mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure. I think we have it. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest.
He pats you on the back. 3 small pats in a row.
Affirmative.
Why didn't we come here before?
Why? We don't go everywhere in a 1,000-meter radius of the crime scene. That's not procedure.
You're right.
He looks north, over the fortification, then at the mattress.
Could the shooter still be here,
Where?
on this island?
He does not answer, just nods. With his back hunched, he looks around once more and says, he feels uncomfortable suddenly.
We should move now.
Turn away. A weathered artillery map showing coordinates in the Bay of Revachol. Just sparing my hips, my pelvis, my intestines, my shoulder. By walking instead of running. Oh, hey, what's this? Okay.
You see a small metal door nested inside a larger one, a heavy steel blast door. There is a conventional keyhole above the handle. It's very small.
How do we open this?
Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open?
He looks at the door, then at its bigger brother, then at the lock.
He's right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door.
You're right. We open the big one. You see controls anywhere?
Yeah, on the console just southeast of here. Remember? Let's look around. Getting the blast door open seems like the best plan.
It was conceptualization there.
Soft covers, serialized, fantastique, and detective stories.
Does
And
anything stand out
adventures.
as unusual?
A magazine for
58%.
electrical engineering. Oh yes, under the bed, there is a rather extensive collection of critical theory. That is, dour, life non-affirming left-wing literature, published by small imprints such as Abattoir Firm and Ouzia. It's not exactly like reading.
Look him, powerful communist theory, rigorous and truthful. Look him, deranged commie ranting. Look Kim, downbeat dribble for people who can't get shit done. Look Kim, a book, left wing. I have no comments.
Ouzia. Humanitarian sciences. Stands out. Not a lot of critical theory around in Ravachol West anymore.
Your incendiary remark has failed to provoke him.
Well, yeah, I mean, was no comment. Critical theory books. What do you think this means?
Again, I am not a philosopher, but whoever has lived here, they have some education and a certain set of interests.
Interesting.
Oh, there's not Karl Marx again.
This old cylindrical gem
For fuel.
lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you tilt. Dark brown, viscous fluid pours out, and the room fills with a chemical smell. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The lieutenant flicks the switch. The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old warhorse before settling down to a rattle.
That should do it.
want my clothes back. Logic hat. Be the core. Calculus. I feel like we should have our armor there. Pain threshold. Collision. Oh, that's a shirt? Oh! Oh! Yeah, I'll take that. Alcohol.
A dim golden glow animates the console, faint like a ghost light. Urgence ouvert reads one dial key. Allumer reads another.
It's on. Turn emergency open.
Automatic boot.
Turn emergency open.
The blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in. A sudden wave of anxiety makes your skin crawl.
After you.
The lieutenant gestures at the opening. What's there? Point to the door. I'm scared. Let's go.
A dim golden glow animates the console. Faint,
Slide radio
like a
dial.
ghost, the dial slides under the dusty glass, dark and silent, despite the power being on. You make out defunct stations on the UKV frequency. The words, failed insula, are written on the band.
Insular. This is an off-air radio computer, I believe, used for military communications.
It's an air-gapped system, an off-air military model. Its circuits are nearly impossible to bend, i.e., it cannot be remote controlled.
The mouse pointer is bugged. Half the time it just shows small white flowers blossom all around you. A rubber dinghy. It's deflated, broken. But yeah, it just shows the pickup thing. Hello there.
An old man wearing tracksuit trousers leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth, then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclench clouded by cataracts. His eyesight is sharp.
Are you the fire guy?
The what now? I can't hear you.
He cups his ear. Nothing.
Fire guy. Regressive bourgeoisie henchman. Can't even talk like a grown-up.
Did you close the blast door?
I did. And you opened it. How?
I fueled the generator, then used the console.
I should have burned that console down.
How did you know I was coming?
The boat engine. On the water.
It's kind you got there.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done.
What make of rifle is that exactly?
It's a Triangong 446.
Southeast Samaran made. Exotic. Must be defunct too. No modern rifle manufacturer of that name springs to mind.
A Samaran rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Sinyao commune. Military aid.
He pats the rifle. You've retained your eyesight. The Xinjiao commune.
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk, white from the ball.
Sir, I need you to put down the gun, so we can talk further. We're with the
The
police.
lieutenant pulls his pistol from the holster.
You are a glorified night watchman. This is a service rifle. I can only lay it down before an enemy commander of corresponding rank.
I am an enemy commander of rank. Put it down.
The words, "I am an enemy commander," sound cold as iron from your lungs. The old man still hugs his gun.
And what rank would that be, dog?
Lieutenant Double Refrater.
A big wheel of the 4th Regiment of the Pederast Army. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
The old man lays the rifle down, carelessly, then stares at it just lying there.
Like an amputated limb in the sand.
Pick up the gun lying in the
His
sand.
gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire.
Inspect it closer.
The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangong, 4.46mm, made in Sinyao.
This uses jacketed ammunition, 4.46.
Jacketed, military-grade ammunition. Stable in flight. Good for hitting something that's very, very far away.
He says, mostly to the old man.
As he speaks, he stresses every word. He's liking this.
It's as he said, it's a Triangong, made in Sinyao.
More personalized even. Looks like this weapon has seen a lot of use, hasn't it, sir?
No response from the old man. The plastic cape around his shoulders rustles in a small bout of wind.
Stow the gun.
The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It could be used against him to get a confession. In time.
Who are you?
My name Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
His eyes turn to the reeds again, dead and dull.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? Your holdover from the...
From the Insulindian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in 07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and consigned to emergency defense duties in 08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
How long have you been on this island?
43 years. No. I've been on other islands too.
He looks into the fire. A wisp of smoke rises from somewhere between the charred logs.
I was an resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was an E-48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago.
That you deserted your unit.
I was just 16 years old. 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage, too.
Lapse of faith?
You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took
For what?
for reaction to take hold.
I understand. Communists are natural cowards. Quantity over quality. What's reaction?
Petty bourgeois terror. It's in all men.
And when was this exactly?
May the 13th, 08, 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky and it looked like it formed the clouds. Storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic.
Dark magic.
The combined might of international capital. All at once, all the greed and terror in the world tore into Revachol. It lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the flak tower,
He gestures toward it.
huddled on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room.
He looks east.
A terrible shame still within him. The lobes of his ears are red with it. The shame and smallness of what he became.
You didn't go to the map room.
No. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers there, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse, frightened at the ordnance all night, and the sound of the rotors in the morning, whirring.
He looks at the sky. What was that?
Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too. Shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels, or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. It was real. I'd seen it. I'd seen it in reality.
He opens his eyes and stares right through you.
Some kind of great terror. Worse than you've ever seen.
Seen what?
The mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love. All the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed. And then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know.
What?
That the bourgeois are not human.
Say nothing. Let him finish.
I had to fight it. I had to never stop.
The old man falls silent. His black eyes keep piercing your skin as he looks to some great distance behind you, shaking his head slowly, retreating from. What is this place, this island?
It's not an island, Dwat. It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol. And I am its last surviving defender.
What was it used for?
The congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing. Against the whole world.
You mean the landing? Retaking of Revachol?
Coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone.
Tell me something else.
No. Iblis. Iblis calls it that.
Iblis?
The black-eyed angel.
Eh? How have you survived all this time?
How does anyone survive? I steal.
Now hold on there.
That's a choice. You could have become self-employed. Create the system. What does that even mean? What do you steal?
Supplies, vegetables. I collect rainwater. It's the life of a dog, not a human being.
He coughs once more, then puts his hand on his belly.
How is your health, Mr. Dross?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too.
He does seem frail. Gaunt for his age. More like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight could mean cancer.
The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns.
A droll smile stretches across his mouth.
You also have Druamine.
We have Druamine, other opioid-based painkiller. You must be in pain.
I have been running out of that stuff.
A light goes on in his eyes. He smacks his dry lips.
There's no way he could manage the pain without them. It's safe to say he is addicted to painkillers by now.
You like that, Dramamine, don't you? How have you coped, mentally? This is a serious situation. You need to be looked over, and we can do it.
There's nothing to look over. The triage is in, and it's black. Administer morphine. Moribund.
How have you coped, mentally?
I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain only. A decade of...
His eyes roll into his skull and
I
back.
don't even know what. Inferno?
You notice the lieutenant is about to say
I
something.
would imagine it gets tremendously difficult, mentally, to live in isolation.
Traitors. It's better alone. I watch the people of this city turn the lights back on, more and more each year. Ruins, glimmering in the dark, like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting.
He looks down at his shoes, his face parched from the sun and the wind. There's a wince of pain in there somewhere.
Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on?
How have you concealed yourself all these years?
It was hard in the Thames. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
There were posters, campaigns.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Marsov coursing through their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequency's dead.
How did you get between here and the mainland?
At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
I used a dinghy. He nods towards the deflated tire in the reeds.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just...
He falls silent, his gaze fixed on the shacks huddled together across the water. Why don't you just walk there?
I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking, laughing.
There's a small bunker under the Fell building. Have you stayed there?
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys.
Killed
A
themselves?
lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
Tell me another thing.
The old man looks across the water, at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
You said this is your termless surrender.
You're with the RCA. a coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol. A so-called Lieutenant W. Freighter.
I know what it looks like, but I have secret plans to turn the RCM into a Mazovian revolutionary unit. We enforce the law, keep the animals from killing each other. That's right, we're with the good guys. We're not coalition appointed, we just try to help people. We're with the RZM, let's leave it at that.
Let's. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, le Parti Communiste dans ce Monde. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
His hand shakes and he breaks into a coughing fit.
A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit. Rene, the royalist on the coast, said,
The Communards signed the Revacholian Instrument of Surrender.
Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors who should have been burned alive. I answer to the Communist Party.
Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party didn't surrender?
If the party had surrendered, then it would not be the party.
Not what he said. He said he just wipes the blood from his chin. Honorable. Understood.
I don't think you did. You live in a delusion. Radio shows, speed racing, and sporting goods. It's not real.
So you're a communist soldier from the Communist Army.
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army.
But you said you were trained and assigned to the Defense Corps.
Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
Wait, what does a political commissar do?
The old man does not answer. He tilts his silver head and looks at the reeds. You see a small tremor pass through his legs.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the Commune.
The lieutenant says softly.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a night philosopher of the revolution, a future human.
That means you're a trained communist, right?
He nods slowly. Then another tremor.
By the way, I'm a fascist. Say nothing.
He looks away to the sea and lets out a cough.
Okay, so all I can say now is, again, you've been hiding here for 43 years.
3 years and 10 months.
Length of my entire life.
It's too long. It's not how a human being should live. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
He just couldn't.
You couldn't give up.
He nods. But he can now.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
He looks across the water.
Where the afternoon grows late, on Rue de Saint-Ghislain, people walk home. Street lights will soon be lit. Further inland, the streets are alive with workers, men, women, children, street hawks and migrant laborers. The temperature is steady. Alto cumulus clouds form above Precinct 41. 2 police officers step out of the Whirling in Rags cafeteria. Satellite officer Jean-Vic Mayer inspects giant letters across the plaza mosaic in dark red government-marked heavy fuel oil. Patrol officer Judith Minot points west. The fishing village, She glances at her watch. We meet in 15 minutes. It's a 10-minute walk. The officers go, leaving behind the writing, still smelling of petroleum. One day, it says, I will return to your side.
Always waiting.
The old man turns his eyes from the shore and back to you. For what?
For her to return.
Her who?
Girl, child, revolution.
Women will always betray you. I've been there. The city is a tinderbox. It may still happen. I've seen it. Shake your head. Capital is too powerful. The rich are very well organized. Women will always betray you. I'm gonna go with that.
Women are more susceptible to bourgeois morals. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do.
I have another serious question for you.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
Composure 2. Assess his body language. 3%. What have you been using this gun for?
I've used it for killing people.
Here we go. A trail of blood. The lieutenant smells it too.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
He shakes his head and smiles, his teeth rotten black.
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. Go in straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
I know you want to tell me. Have you killed anyone with that gun in the last week or two?
I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque murderer.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time.
You are. You really are. So you're saying you killed people after active fighting stopped?
What did I just say?
Keeps shaking his head erratically suddenly. He brushes something out of his eye.
What did I just tell you? Don't drop the ball now.
Wait, so which one do I say then? Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor Crenell?
The who now?
He leans in and cups his ear.
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire.
His name was Ellis Courtnar. He was part of a security detail here in Martinez.
Oh, yes. That one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
He looks up at the sky and clacks his tongue.
Did you kill him?
The lieutenant takes a sudden step toward him.
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
Tear into him. Pile it on him. Everything you got on him. The more, the better. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember. Something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
We've done the ballistics. Point to the tower. The shot came from this
I
island.
saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. Did you like the view?
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession.
The lieutenant softens his voice.
You've been here a long time, Mr. Dross. Too long. You clearly need medical aid.
I'm ready to die. I've done my part.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part. Just one thing remains unclear. The rifle does not seem to have a scope.
One thing. Where's the scope? How did you make the shot without a scope? We have everything else.
Forget about your stupid fucking scope. I don't know where it is. Find it yourself. It's your problem now.
He lost it. He just doesn't know where it is. Forget it. Push on.
You said fascies. You're admitting you killed him.
You're sad for your fascia brother, aren't you? One twig got broken. Now the others are sad.
He waves his hand. There's a twitch, then one more in his right eye. Come on, what am I forgetting? Hit yourself on the back of your head. I don't need your cooperation. I've got this. Show him the Triangle 446.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your musketeer pistols. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. He would have a good view of the tribunal from here. It's not just empty boasting. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
Stop changing the subject. We have the murder weapon. Point to it.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
Dramatically ask. You think we have the murder weapon?
4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. We have it. This is it.
I'm calling it. We have the murder weapon.
Good.
The lieutenant takes out his notebook and draws a single line.
This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
Murder.
The old man does not say more. He just glances into the reeds, then twitches
Like
once
a
more.
marionette on some invisible string.
Come on, what am I forgetting? Hit yourself on the back of side of the head. No. Let's back off for a moment.
You're
Tell me.
lost, Dwat. You're lost.
That's it for now, old man.
I
Stay
ain't
put.
going anywhere.
Just 1 second, I'm just equipping my composure clothes. If I have any. I think I have like +1 maybe. Is it the boots? I think it's the boots. Or the shoes. Composure. Composure. I'll make sure we don't have bonus from thoughts. Oh no, -1.
Minions of capital. What do you want?
Assess his body language.
For a 60-year-old man with stomach trouble who spent his entire life alone on an uninhabited island, he seems surprisingly fit.
That's it? Squint at him.
He's clearly a drug user of the painkiller sort, prone to erratic hand gestures, and malnourished. But that's it. The moment passes, and you say,
I was hoping we would be able to get any bonus for this.
Pretty bourgeois.
tear into him again.
What am I
Pile it
forgetting?
on him.
Hit yourself on the side of
Wait,
your head.
Here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof.
Oh yes.
There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. They're revolutionary symbols from the war. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now they're gonna come up.
Of course. Thank you, Ed. Thank you. Wait.
You got it. Remember? The boot prints were like no modern soul. Maybe don't beat yourself anymore, though. You're not immortal.
I wonder what brand of boots you're wearing.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa. Some shit.
He looks at his running shoes covered in.
Show me the soles, please, Mr. Doras.
Fucking imbecile.
The old man stretches out his leg. A black and white spiral pattern covers the sole of the worn-out old running shoes on it.
The maker is called Sensory. You see their V-shaped logo, but can't make out the size. These are not the unusual horizontal patterned soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the sole.
Wait, maybe it's simpler than that.
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
People change shoes. It doesn't mean you weren't there. Near the room the victim died. Sneaking around.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance. You've almost got him. Just the last little push.
There were Maybells behind the victim's window. Show him the dried flower.
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them.
He looks at the blossoming field behind you.
He seems tender suddenly. Nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
I haven't seen these flowers anywhere else in Martinique. Only here.
They blossom on the islets before. We fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it. The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
I may.
Furious tremor passes his face. A young woman called Clage. Ring any bells? These dried flowers were behind her window.
Classier.
You know her, right? She had intimate relations with the victim, the mercenary.
With the victim.
He turns his sight from the whitening field of flowers and falls silent. Then the muscles in his jaw twitch. A spasm.
There is a small tremble, looks like a smile, a crooked smile, yet isn't quite voluntary. He's about to burst.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer, armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer, dripping with blood.
He was a rapist. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. He's a killer, but he was still under the protection of the law. He was a rapist. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it.
Beating us to the ground, moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop eating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
He breathes through flared nostrils.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
So you shot him.
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fists begin to tremble from the
The
anger.
lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you. Hush. He does not need to be pushed anymore. The ball is rolling, while the lieutenant listens, holding his breath.
Hold your breath.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase. And I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth.
He begins to smile.
I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
The smile quivers. Then what?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own, and so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
The lieutenant asks after a second of silence.
Yes.
A single word is all he gives.
And you were looking at Dan, the victim and a young woman, having sex through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
The lieutenant takes out his notebook slowly, very slowly.
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
He shrugs, then smacks his lips.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
Why were you looking at them then?
I'm always looking.
He cocks his head to the side, then turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his right side, lower in intensity.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
And if you don't like it?
You pull the trigger?
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
You got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift.
What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder?
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
So you were jealous?
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. Drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second. Writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
How long had you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinez. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Fell building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
And beautiful.
What do you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Brut.
In the free state of Seminine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale.
This is the hidden buoy she told us about. You looked into it?
After she was gone,
Did you
No.
keep what was in it? When we found the submersible, it was empty.
no. Why would I do that? I didn't need tickets to Villiers. I'd put them back. If I wanted to extort someone, I'd do better.
This implies that he's thought about extorting her. Also, a little inconsistency here. He was surprised to hear her name Clausia before. Would he not have seen it on the documents?
No, because the name Claudia was not on the document. We already know that wasn't her name. I mean, I guess we can say it. Maybe he can tell us her real name. If no, it was like fake name. Are you sure? We checked the submersible. There was nothing there.
Why would I need that trash? I'm not going to Villiers.
A strange confusion comes over him from time to time. Some kind of aberration of the nervous system.
You saw her name on the passport, but before, when I said her name is Claudia, you didn't seem to
It
recognize it.
didn't say Clausia in there.
What did it say her name was in the passport?
It was something. I don't remember. It was dark that morning. I only remember her face on the photo.
Moving on, did you continue watching her after this?
I did. She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks. And a body, hard and lean and bruised all over. Black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook. On the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
He's setting it up for you. The bruises. You can't make that out in a scope.
And how could you see her bruises? Through the scope of a rifle.
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
How does he know those minute details about her body? Footprints in the dust. Could have changed shoes. Reaction speed 2. Oh! Holy shit, we have 4 skill points. Okay. %. Let's go with that.
It quickly comes to you.
Ever see her through a window? On a roof?
Mm-hmm. Bending like a bow against the glass.
He smacks his lips. You've been through the secret route behind the whirling in rags. Those were your footprints. Just changed your shoes.
I've been through all of Martinez, every nook and cranny.
And that too.
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
He keeps shaking his head.
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you. One more loose end down. We're doing this, detective.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
He points towards the whirling in rags.
Andy found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
Did you have feelings for that woman?
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough. Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
There have been others?
Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something.
Was that why you left the dried flowers behind her window?
No.
He starts to shake his head again, a sunflower on a withered stalk. Why then?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of our room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
When was this?
The day after I killed him.
Roger Maybell's?
Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
He looks at the charred logs.
It's as if something put the thought there to leave the flowers.
Something put the thought in you. A compulsion.
What do you mean, put?
He raises his eyes. They're round and
A
wide.
brief flash of terror.
I just got this feeling from what you said. Do you agree?
Maybe. I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you.
A sudden pang of rage.
If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
He wipes his eye.
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more. One more down.
So in conclusion, it wasn't about him. It was about her.
Her.
He repeats, staring at the ashes, then at the reed. There's a twitch in the corner of his eye.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement. That's it. Motive. We have it.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
We arrested her. I am not at liberty yet to say. I'm gonna go with that.
I know she's gone. Locked up. Or on the run. She kept staring into the scope, you know. In the end, this last week, at the fort. Like she knew. Like she knew I was here. It doesn't matter.
He knew she knows. She was looking at the island, figuring it out, day by day, cigarette by cigarette.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Who knows what he's seen and done over the years? Enough. Take him in. Bend his arms behind his back and end this.
Odd flower behavior. Says his body language.
Aside from the rare, erratic hand gesture, smacking his lips and despondently staring into the fire, you can only see that he is old.
What was it, composure? Ah, yeah.
I am
The commune of...
from the inside.
Ah, blah, blah,
51
blah.
minus 8 equals
Oh
43. I
no!
was an resurrection. There's nothing serious
It says his body
in this world.
What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. It's precisely what you could not see before. For a man who spent 44 years hidden in the urban wild.
He is surprisingly okay.
Indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated.
Animated? By what?
It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads, as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system.
Dementia?
You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even, not senile. Is this some kind of substance damage? Like he's addicted to something? Not only the painkillers he's clearly on.
Mr. Rose, are you on some kind of psychoactive substance?
No. I won't be stuffed full of shit like the rest of this city.
You said you take painkillers.
The lieutenant follows your lead.
I take them to cope with pain. The people of this city use painkillers because they have pain. Untreated illnesses, not enough money for a greedy doctor.
Are you sure about him being lucid? Maybe he's just affected by an extreme case of socialism. It's not a downer, rather an upper, judging by his snaps.
Are you on amphetamines?
Like some kind of decadent rock star.
He doesn't dignify it with more of an answer. Mr. Rose, are you okay? How is your memory?
No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
He waves his hand, chasing something that's not there.
There it is again. Erratic hand motions, bouts of rage, and the stomach thing too, of course. Could it be a symptom of overdosing on something? Something even you have not tried? Keep your eyes peeled.
Been looking at anything else you haven't liked?
Tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back. The familiar put of hatred. Detest pushes the cobwebs out of his eyes. Pushes the melancholy aside. He relishes it.
More specifically.
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst.
He shakes his head in grave disgust. How come?
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries.
He points inland.
Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachon 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that social democratic union and the farce of a social democrat who runs it.
Mr. Clare?
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class.
Let him finish. Do not interrupt.
Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. In tents, like animals. Like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
He keeps shaking his head with sorrow for the society missed. That all?
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no. The worst is that old cock parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Quayamoran, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children.
Say nothing.
That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt, Frisell, is now dead.
Just not.
We did good when we pushed him under that horse car. If only, in the 30s, those disco whores.
What follows is ominous mumbling. Cannot make out a single
The
word.
disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter. There was something about the statue and nihilistic advertising agency people might be worth investigating.
You mentioned the Union is social democratic, and Mr. Clare a farce of a social democrat.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
Disappointment, so personal. He displays a familiarity with the Union's top brass.
Yeah, one The true enemy of the proletariat. No one likes unions. Not the commies, not nationalists, not no one. Like centrists like unions. And psychopaths. Who's a disappointment? Everard Clare?
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
Edgar.
You mean Edgar? Everard's brother.
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin, where it's alienation this and hegemony that.
You've talked to Edgar?
First against the wall with him.
He stopped poking at the ash now, just shakes his head.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course. Maybe the Clears asked him to.
Have you approached them?
I haven't approached anyone. I hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains.
He pointed to the path leading to the...
Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left, wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things.
When was this?
20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
That's around the time the Clears came to power.
What did you talk about?
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Marzoff. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzoff. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
And he let you be here?
Let me be here. The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
Mr. Draws, did you kill the Cornell mercenary for the Clares to incite a riot?
You know why I killed that fucker, Duat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
Okay, he didn't do the hang the man for them, but he's insinuating something.
Disco Horse.
Horse.
Oh my god. So good. There's something about the statue, and there was something about the statue on the roundabout. Syphilis?
Syphilis is a disease Philip III contracted in a whorehouse. The statue is an abomination.
Abomination?
The bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine, cocainum, and monuments of himself. His son, Philip IV, the insane, contracted syphilis in the womb.
Cocainum. He breathes in with a wheeze of hate.
That is technically possible, although Philippe III was not actually syphilitic. He was just mad.
And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives toppling that mode of government. And those grotesque statues too. Hundreds of them.
But it's still there.
What a keen remark. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why?
Because cynical advertising yuppies erected a deconstructed version of it.
That's right. Some advertising cockroaches erected a cynical deconstruction of it. We tore it down with honest working-class plastic explosives. And there it is again.
Shakes his head in disgust.
Art is a bourgeois establishment. It's an affront to humanity. Every gallery should be bulldozed, and the artists should all be given 30 years of hard labor in Yekokata.
By the cock parading his colorful uniform, you... René?
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That is not a working class game. I don't care what they say on Radio June. Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot's plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A tank maniac race traitor.
Just not.
I remember him. I remember him from Lanos. Not him personally, his make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the liberals came to their rescue. We missed one. That one.
With his shaky finger, he points to the city, toward the crater near the plaza where a lonely pine tree stands.
Fat and plump, like a pheasant, just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me.
A grin stretches across his face, and he
He
whispers,
whispers with such predatory hunger. It borders on longing.
"You'd like to kill him?"
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bomb melt in my mouth.
Save the treat for later?
The lieutenant asks, cheerfully.
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think, no, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, René. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls, and I suddenly feel
He lets out a wistful sigh.
better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one. For him. Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood.
René's dead. He died of old age a couple of days ago.
No,
Yes.
I waited too long. I waited too long and now he's dead?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dross. I understand you knew him for a long time.
They're all dead now. Fuck it.
If he really wanted to kill him so bad, he would have done. There must have been 1,000 black days on these islands. His health ailing.
I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
Look what Communard says, staring at the ground, seemingly to the island you're on. You had 1,000 chances to kill him.
And I blew them all. What does it matter now? He's gone. Ancient dust.
You cared about him?
All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing his head explode. And now, God damn this one.
Are you okay, Mr. Dross? Can you go on?
You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fuck and die. All the other plans we have. To love. To colonize the Pale. It's all fucked.
He's not okay. This is just another black day in a row of black days. Something strange is keeping him together, making him endure.
I'm glad we talked about this now.
Glad we talked about what?
Stay put. Is equipping my logic gear. At least he doesn't mind. Give me my hat. Logic jacket, sure. Oh, logic. Oh, that one's better.
The old man stares despondently at. His lip curls into a sneer at the memory.
What was the deal between him and Edgar?
The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water. Dark, cold water.
20 years ago, when you met Edgar, the Clares didn't run the Union yet, did they? A sputter from the old man.
He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist behind the dark bend.
Who did?
That bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation. And money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker.
His eyes glisten suddenly with hatred.
Bordering on sentimentality, it drips out of him, tempered by something familiar to you. A familiar rage.
She was also a woman, wasn't she? Like that
She
Bashi.
was. And she was real soft on those money men. Had a Barbara Muskova bag over her shoulder that she liked to bring to work.
And then she just disappeared.
Called in, they say, on the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like a piss stain.
He squints and smiles at the black logs.
No, that's not quite it, is it?
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it?
No, I guess it was not.
You could swear you see the embers glow again for his eyes on the dust. Edgar had someone else make the call. Why is that, Mr. Drew?
She couldn't make the call herself.
Here it is, the bend in the river.
Why?
Because she was dead.
How come?
Because the cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal, grasping her tit and drowned. Or bled. Hard to say. It was a sloppy job, on a moving target. She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruins are black around her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal, heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her, and the ruins.
You shot her.
Someone shot her. Or maybe the cow just fell. My memory is full of holes. All I know is...
Another big spike of rage, different from the one he has for her.
nothing changed. Not in the material base, not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled, sogged. Nothing came of it. Nothing.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal.
A sputter again, nothing more.
If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk.
The lieutenant says in a voice even calmer, as if it were nothing at all.
We would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
A degenerate worker state. Go shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything.
He coughs. But you did do it.
I saw it happen, and I liked it. That's all I have to say. I didn't live and fight for 40 years to end up as a collaborationist. I've heard it on Channel 8, 12:40 a.m. Radio Revachol, late night. Everyone is a blobber in this world. Everyone betrays everyone. They're all already locked up for betrayal. The best ones, the ones with heart, were slaughtered, trampled.
He looks to the city.
The same old freezing hatred. There is plenty here to work with once he's in custody, and the lieutenant knows it. He gives you a little nod to proceed.
I'm glad we talked about this. Now,
Glad we talked about what?
another erratic gesture. He's trembling. Josef Lilianovich Droz, you're under arrest for the murder of Elis Kortanov.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
The old man's eyes fill with sudden, unexpected terror at the words.
This terror is the sum of all the uncontrollable movements and mood swings he's been exhibiting. The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation.
Your Wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? ... Do you understand?
But
He's afraid.
no, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He looks at the reeds, eyes submerged in growing terror.
He's not afraid of jail. He's afraid of something else. Like parting from a loved one.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
Perception, hearing. Legendary. Wait. The red check, it cannot be tried. We only have 2. I have 1 perception. Bonus from items -1. God damn it. I don't think this is gonna help. 8.
You thought you heard something, but it's just the reeds.
Maybe we could all fit in there.
The lieutenant says. We could all fit in the little boat.
Actually, no.
First say, does it have room for 3?
Not really. We could escort him to the pier, then either one of us can take him inland while the other stays here. But
But then, who watches him while you're coming back here?
Who watches him there while I come back for you?
you come back for me? How about I go and send a boat back for you?
What is this farce? This is a fucking farce. I can't.
He looks around with strange desperation.
Lillian, you could ask her maybe.
Maybe I can just ask that net picker to watch him.
This is no harmless old man.
The lieutenant shakes his head.
This fucking world. This world. What is this?
You could come back for me once you've taken him to the precinct.
No, it would take a whole day on this island. You go and transport the prisoner. I'll be here. I can escort him to the pier with you.
No need to be polite. I'll do it.
This world. What are you talking about? Is this us?
His voice drowns out in a sudden gush of wind.
The wind is cold from the east. Your skin is crawling suddenly.
Oh shit! It's the cryptid!
A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb. to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence.
What is that? Point to it. Blink.
It's still there, an unfolding mechanism of reed-like chitin, hovering in place.
What is that?
What are you talking about?
Giant stick insect.
There's nothing there.
He looks
The
confused.
stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand move to your holster, but you don't have a gun.
There is! I see it!
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds.
Kim, can you see it?
I can see it.
4 simple words, thank God. If he can see, then you're not insane. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence, its limbs long and slender.
Be very, very careful.
The lieutenant whispers, then takes a step toward the giant arthropod. Yeah? What are we supposed to do? I should have brought the sword. Here you go. Let's put on our combat pants. The itchy yellow pants. Triangong, 446. You... I can't equip it? You son of a bitch. Equip it!
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
It's right there. Can you see it? Point. He doesn't finish the sentence. One letter is all he can produce. His hands are numb, and he stares at it.
Nothing. Nothing is what he tried to say.
Yes?
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from his head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks.
Electrochemistry. Approach carefully. 20. Impossible. Just wasted all my points for the perception as well. For the... Yeah. This is the Insulindian phasmid.
It is.
The lieutenant whispers behind you. You hear the familiar ring of his jacket unzipping slowly, painstakingly so.
You glance over your shoulder. The lieutenant holds a piece of milled aluminium. He begins to pull it open, extremely carefully. It's the camera.
Are you sure you won't scare it off?
We need a photo. No one will believe us.
He continues to pull the lens open.
From the corner of your eye, you see a sudden cascade of motion ripple through the phasmid's limbs. A series of ultrasonic clicks fills your ear. I am not palatable. Do not eat me. I am afraid.
It's afraid. Stop now.
I won't be one of those fools who didn't take a picture.
He has stopped fiddling with the camera, but does not put it down.
He's letting his pride get in the way. You see the phasmid turn to him, its mandible antennae reaching out. Its motions are quick, sudden.
Who cares what they think, Kim?
Understood. Of course.
He comes to abruptly. He's
The spindly mechanism turns itself back to you, its antennae taking their measure of the air, slowly.
Say something to it, quietly.
We can't just leave it standing there. We have to do something, detective. It could be connected somehow even.
You've never seen him get this excited. His voice is almost trembling.
Say something to it, quietly. Something like... Hey.
The creature tilts its tiny head to the side and appears to look at you. It is incredibly light, like the slightest gust of wind should blow it away. But it doesn't. There is a sadness in there. Or is it in you? From the dream. It's still with you. The pitiful hey you told her. Even now.
Oh no. Don't be afraid.
Nothing changes in the cyclical braying motion of the creature's limbs. They are porcelain white on the inside and reed-colored on the out. Beige, light brown, and striped. You are unsure if it is scared or not. Its insect mind is impenetrable to your reasoning.
We have to roll the double six. Failure.
You barely get to take one step. The invertebrate reacts with uncanny speed, skating away across the water. It's gone, like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but rings on the sea's calm mirror. It's blending into the tufts of reeds in the distance, moving from islet to islet.
Where? Where did it go?
The lieutenant has the camera in one hand and a slip of white paper in the other, developing. Damn, we should have helped the cryptozoologists. I mean, with what? We did what we were supposed to do. What now? Oh, he's still sitting there. I see him. I think it went into the reeds there on that isle. Point north.
Looks like it doesn't like to stay out in the open for long.
The lieutenant squints where you were pointing. How did it do that? Why?
It appears the insect can walk on water, like a water strider, you know? It's almost as fast. Uncanny.
What now?
What now?
The old man behind you repeats suddenly. He's put his hand into the ash. It's dirty and
In some kind of strange, semi-catatonic state.
Our suspect's not looking so good. We should check him over. Also,
he points to the reeds.
it looks like it has some kind of nest there. Maybe there's proof in there.
In the reeds, where the phasmid was hiding, you see a little flash of white. Porcelain white.
Oh, it's the helmet. Maybe. Yeah. Oh, and the rifle scope. touch his passport as well.
This passport, issued by the Sovereign Republic of Oranje, is issued to a black-haired woman called Katarzyna Alazie.
Classia's hidden documents. From the MT boy.
Look at the photo.
It's Klasia, with short black hair and glasses. She looks boyish, younger somehow.
What was this doing in the Phasmid's nest?
Maybe our man, Mr. Dross, took it from Classia's, or whatever her name was. Hiding place, or...
Perhaps for some blackmailing plan?
Perhaps. But that still doesn't explain how it got into the nest.
I think the Phasmid took it.
Like a magpie? What a coincidence. Then it would also have collected the other objects, which would be highly unusual. I can see how the helmet could wash up on the island. And the scope. Maybe Mr. Dross lost it. But to seek this out would be very unusual behavior for an arthropod.
It says Katarzyna Alazie.
She said it would be for Anouk Meyer-Smith. Anouk Meyer-Smith.
Katarzyna Alazie was supposed to be her real name, where Klasia comes from. Remember? God damn it.
Maybe this is her real passport, not a fake. Because this is her real name.
No, she lied to us. Her so-called real name was not her real name. Somehow she's managed to lie to us about that too.
He almost smiles. What's her real name then? We don't know that. Stupid question. Put the passport away. This monstrous-looking, bug-eyed ceramic helmet was in the Phasmid's nest. It still has some reeds sticking out of it. It smells of seawater. But it's otherwise wearable. It's not exactly comfortable. Putting it on feels scary somehow. Wing!
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
Sir, how could you not see the Phasmid? Stares at the reeds and falls silent.
Mr. Dross?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets. His gap-toothed mouth shaking, like an addict of some terrible substance.
Touch his shoulder gently.
The plastic cape feels coarse. A light shiver passes the man. Other than that, no reaction. He feels small and frail.
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem, doesn't it, Mr. Dross?
The trembling mouth appears to sigh.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid.
What has happened to this?
Old age and shock.
He looks at him and then at you. I think it's the Phasmid.
Yes, the arrest and the appearance of the Phasmid, the combined stress. But you think it's something more than that, don't you?
Before, when I evaluated his state, he seemed strangely
He
animated.
was energetic and articulate. After all these years alone, with little hygiene or medication, I would expect worse.
Perhaps this animation is induced by something in the Phasmid.
It does not seem to be animated now it's left. Honestly, I'm ready to believe anything at this point. Maybe it is psychoactive. I mean, why not? It's 3 meters tall.
He takes off his glasses and cleans them. Then he puts them back on. When he puts them back on, he's still staring at the sea. He couldn't see it, Kim. It's just the reeds for him.
It could be part of the shock. But you're right, something is off here. Mr. Dross,
He touches the man's shoulder.
No response.
Maybe this is how the Phasmid has stayed hidden all these years.
then how did we see it? Oh, you mean, whatever does this, does it over time? Teenagers, kids, drunks, sightings are brief, and hence not credible. But anyone who spends a long time with it.
Yes, you forget it's there.
Mr. Dross, have you ever seen a stick insect pretending to be the reeds?
The old man stutters.
Doctors will have to look at this. I hope your station has better medical personnel than 57. This is a little advanced for a nurse.
I think he's addicted to
Like
that.
a drug?
He has displayed addict behavior, and not just to
His
painkillers.
pupils appear to be dilated. They still are.
He examines the catatonic man. He's been here for a long time. Who knows how much of it is in its
He
company?
did seem distressed when it finally came to arresting him. Like he didn't want to leave this place. And the insect, maybe.
He looks at his notebook.
I have absolutely forgotten to take notes. I hope I remember all of this. This will be one hell of a report. They'll think we're insane.
You will have to be very convincing and very sober to make them believe, sire.
We found some things in the Phasmid's nest, Mr. Dross.
He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him. Perhaps you should.
Show him the Orangeese
No
passport.
reaction. His breathing is slow, and he appears very old all of a sudden. Around 80.
Did you take this passport and other papers from a boy on the coast?
The spirits.
He blinks and continues to stare at the reeds.
He hears us. The spirit?
No reply. He's gone again.
Try something else? We got him back for a moment.
The ceramic helmet looks like a bug.
Nothing. Just dull staring. Not even rage left, wherever he is. The last embers have gone out. The war is over.
If Kuno kicked it into the sea, as he said he did, the ebb would put it back here. This makes sense. Mr. Dross could have picked it up. Or the Phasmid even. If it did, this is incredible.
Show him the detached scope.
I lost.
You lost it, Mr.
He
Dross.
turns his eyes to the reeds again, as he's done so many times. Beige and white stripes.
He lost the scope. Then it somehow made its way over there. With the help of a magpie Phasmid.
The lieutenant observes the lens sparkle in your
This
hand.
sight is a T9, Mr. Dross. Was it attached to the rifle when you made the shot?
Silence. Not even a sigh. You've gotten all you will out of this poor being.
I'm going to let you rest now, Mr.
The
Dross.
plastic cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind. His back is slouched and his mouth open. The blacks of his eyes are receding. His pupils are returning to normal. The strength has all gone out of him. Just frail old bones in a sack of tracksuit trousers and a windbreaker.
Hang
We
tight.
should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help. He'll be safe here. If we don't take too long.
If you say so. You think we can call for help with the radio?
A dim golden glow animates the console. The dial slides.
Insular.
It's an air-gapped. ICM? This feels familiar somehow.
Kim, what is the ICM?
Insul Indian Citizens Militia. It's the official name of the Communards Army, the black and white army of the revolution.
Sounds an awful lot like.
RCM. It sounds like RCM. Revolutionary Citizens Militia.
It does.
Why?
The RCM may descend from the ICM.
Eh?
It's impossible to say. It was chaos after the war. The name was good for getting people to join us. Revachol West was mostly workers and criminals.
Nice political thoughts rush through your neocortex. A mediocre athlete would pant from dragging around his body on a busted crutch. But not you. You're thinking about politics with blood dripping down your thigh.
I just want to be in the normal right-wing police force. That's all I want. Just catch
This
a
is better preserved than the others. You can still read the sign.
A white star. Point to the star on the
No.
label.
An upside-down star.
With its horns in the sky, the symbol of the commune.
Are those spec stars
No,
too?
that's the uninhabited archipelago.
A DeLorean-era symbol of Insulinda, known as the face in the sea.
Looks old. What's it still doing
After
here?
44 years? That's not nearly enough to hide what happened here, Lieutenant Gefreiter. One of these barrels was still leaking fuel, as you saw. The city is full of things like this. Old bullets, guns, fuel.
Nope. Okay. I thought that was relevant to something.
The dry grass crackles under your feet as you stop. Far away, birds' wings touch the still surface of the sea.
What is that fluttering?
The flock of quail departs, now more than 100 meters away. 102, 105.
Underneath the flutter.
On the islet, there is almost no wind, just the light movement of air through the reeds. Bulrushes swaying on the waterline, long dried leaves chafing against each other, like a silent orchestra tuning at the beginning of some major work, of great importance to the few who attend.
To the
A
west.
silent hiss, sea air moving through the needles of a pine tree.
To the
The
east.
faraway roar of the city, distant like today's dream. Before it, the sound of sand, the low tide filtered through its grains, a bird tending to its feathers.
Ahead.
A low hum. The air slowly moves through a concrete box, through its ancient slits and cracks, resonating, hollow. A big building.
Beyond that, further north.
Air flows out of a pillbox window. There is very little there. The air cossets flowers on a meadow. Absolute silence. Reeds motionless. Bulrushes motionless.
Below the silence? I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
A jitter. A sound impatient to happen, but not yet in this world.
Yes?
This is where a lesser man would stop to think about the pain shooting up his right leg and into his groin. Not you. You're concentrated on how.
Have you noticed how quiet it
I have. Is that why we're stopping?
Mm-hmm. Wait, I have to listen
The lieutenant
one more thing.
nods in silence.
Open your eyes. Stop listening. Okay. Another weirdo thing.
The skiff is swaying on the.
Turn to
Next.
the mainland.
We are done here.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is uneventful and quiet, but for the sound of conversation on the water, there is someone inland waiting for you. Two men and a woman stand on the concrete square of a nameless village, looking at a small yellow boat as it draws closer. The sea is calm. You reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
Okay. Who? I've got a bad feeling. Harry,
Look what the tide brought in.
says the man without sunglasses. Suddenly his expression changes and he tilts his head.
I want to call you a teapot, but I'm honestly kind of impressed. No idea where you got all that gear, but there's no doubt in my mind that some bad people are looking for it. Also, you look like a fucking idiot.
Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen. This is the man with sunglasses from the whirling in rags. But where are his sunglasses?
Forget about all this. There's a giant.
We're not forgetting about anything. Look at you.
The armor. No one else seems bothered by it.
Oh, really? They don't seem bothered by it? That's because you're a cop in an exoskeleton.
Now that you start thinking about it, maybe they were afraid of you.
Oh, that explains it.
Yes, that has always explained it.
This is not the first time he's seen you all decked out in Waco.
Vic, calm down.
Wait, you're the man with the
That's
sunglasses.
right. And you're some kind of murder machine.
Who are you people?
Hello, I'm Trent Heidelstein. I believe we've met on several occasions.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean-Vic Comar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it.
It says, gesturing toward his companions.
Special Consultant Trent Heidelstam, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement.
Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi, Prison 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us.
The scene is making even him feel as though he has to justify your actions.
We might need your help with something later.
He adds, suddenly regaining his
As if he
confidence.
recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuhagi.
She says warmly, flashing the lieutenant the tiniest of smiles. What is this about?
Ari, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in?
Trent?
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
What does he have to say for himself? He left you to catch the bullets. Shit, kid. What an interesting moniker.
You never told me you're not the horse-faced woman. Point at her. Where have you been all this time? There was a mercenary tribunal.
God damn it, Harry.
He shifts his weight, crosses his arms, and looks you in the eye.
You told us to fuck off. You said we are cramping your style. You're detective god. Fuck everything. All will burn. Detect or die.
Why didn't you detect or die? All will burn, satellite officer. I can't pronounce his name. Make no mistake about it. Wait, so you let me face a squad of trained killers alone just to teach me a
It
lesson?
wasn't like that.
Fuck you, Harry. We didn't know there was gonna be a tribunal, did we?
I said all those things? Not like that anymore.
Yes, you're sorry. You're the sorriest cop who ever lived. Nothing has changed, Harry. I've heard this repentant shit 1,000,000 times over.
You mentioned the task
Yeah.
force.
Major Crimes Unit, under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicomar. Ring any bells?
Yeah, totally. I get it. Major crimes. Refresh my memory. Who else is in this?
Refresh your memory? It's a goddamn Major Crimes Unit. It's you, me, Jude, Trent fucking Heidelstam, and Guillaume Bevy.
He stares at you.
I'm technically just a civilian advisor.
Fuck you. You're part of this shit show.
Yeah, first, who's Guillaume Bevy?
Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. Guillaume Bevy is a police reporter who joined our team. He was really good. Then he left because he lost faith in your ability to lead the unit. Other people have left too. Good, smart people. People we won't get back. Only me and this really patient patrol officer are still here. And Trant, because I'm forcing him to stay.
Okay, so what does the unit do?
Do? It's a major crimes unit. We clear the desk of cases so Precinct 41 doesn't look like the worst station in town. We're shit tier now, Harry. Because of you.
The 41st isn't.
He trails off, not wishing to finish the sentence. So Trant Heidelstam turns out to be Special Consultant Trant Heidelstam.
Yes, I'm Trant Heidelstam. I never said I wasn't Trant Heidelstam.
Wait. What was up with the kid then?
Mikhail? Mikhail's my son.
His son? What a joke. Everyone is lying to you.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No problem.
So what are you special consulting here?
What indeed? I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Königstein in the 30s, like partial psychotraumatic amnesia, group personality theory.
He's here to see if you're insane. He's smart. Let's move on.
How did you know I was here?
The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went.
I saved his establishment and still he betrays me.
Strange. He didn't mention that. In fact, the establishment didn't look saved at all. There was a giant aerografito in front of the building, mixed with blood.
It was this one junior delinquent.
I don't know. It had shit kid written all over it.
You aren't the man with sunglasses at all. You're not even blonde.
Guilty as charged. I heard you lost your mind and your memory. I wanted to see if it was true. And it was. Good work, Harry. You're insane now. There's one less person for me and everyone else to rely on.
He was too sarcastic for you to realize who he was.
Actually, I suspected something was off.
Did you? Or did you literally not recognize my face? We've been partners for how long, Harry? Don't answer that. You don't remember.
You never told me you're not the horse-faced woman, points at her. I'm not gonna say that. None of this is ringing any bell.
The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Trant, this is where you come in. How bad is it?
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia, episodic and semantic.
Meaning, you forgot both who you are and the definitions of money, e-solar, power, and so on.
As displayed in the station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all very interesting.
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically?
Wait, socioeconomically? You think I'm so poor I lost my memory? I drank so much I lost my memory and I'm now slowly recovering it. I made it all up. It was a fantasy, a stupid joke. I know what I am. I'm a highly experimental detective. This was a method I used to solve the case. Something so sad happened to me that I couldn't be me anymore. It's a defense mechanism.
Psychotraumatic amnesia? Trant? I can go for that. Shit kid is a broken man. Always has been. Who isn't? I know I am. But you know what? I keep my shit together. Also, I know a person can't wipe their own mind, however traumatic it gets. That doesn't happen. You're lying, or insane, or both.
But Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before.
I have?
Yes, a couple of times.
A couple?
Some of the more serious benders. One was after the two drunks case, the other when we looked into that mural.
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice. And then he used alcohol to get there, so to speak.
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the sensory input here.
He gestures towards the scenery.
Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world tape, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input. Hardwired to the free market. He just needed for it to end.
Okay, Trant, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a cretin now? I want to know that.
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
Leadership now.
I'm ready to lead again. Line detective is good for now. He's wrong, I'm too far gone for work. Fuck all of you, I don't want to be in your job. What now? Line detective is good for now.
For now? I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the potty? Or do we need to get him on a disability pension?
What now?
Now, nothing. Now we're just going to stand here.
Just stand there.
Yeah. Just stand there. It's cool.
Really?
No. Now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to our motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry?
Oh. Hold on, in the ocean? Feign ignorance. The time has come, tequila sunset. I drove it into the ocean when I was drunk.
So refreshing. It just admits it. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property. That's coming out of everyone's payslip. It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge.
I got my badge right here.
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic, and the badge slips out of your hand.
No, what? Hand-eye coordination challenging. Catch it, 28%. What the fuck? Can't do this to me. I don't have...
You juggle the badge for a second, unsuccessfully, and it lands on the ground, some 2 meters away. Ouch! You strained your elbow trying to catch that stupid thing. Damn it.
He found it. He found it, Jean. It's his badge.
And your gun?
As if having your badge and gun are natural states, not achievements.
I may have pawned it. Anyway, it's gone now.
Yeah, I checked the local pawn shop. You sold the pawnbroker a Villiers 9mm pistol to pay for booze. It worked too, didn't it? You're drunk right now, aren't you? You fucking bum. I can smell it all the way over here.
I quit drinking. Forever. It's only me in this boring hellhole now.
I don't buy it. Why do you smell like a corpse then, huh?
He's wounded. It's been a long week, and he's handled an actual corpse.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a week. I'm sorry I smelled
A
that.
bit of a week? You're drunk, and you let the suspect escape, a certain Glacier, because you were too drunk to assess a flight risk.
We've read the reports, Harry. Lieutenant Kitsohagis. We know.
Yeah, okay, I got duped there. They pulled one on me.
Duped again. Not for one moment do I believe you quit drinking. I'm not even gonna get into the other suspect, who also escaped. Ruby something? Or the fact that you're Evrard Claire's little peony now, doing I don't know what for him. That small-time stuff, that's nothing. That's a humorous anecdote. Compared to the 7 people who were gunned down, the streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking mass murder.
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired and vetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals.
Here comes the cavalry.
He did so at considerable risk to his own life. He was shot, not once, but twice. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been.
Yeah, it was a massacre. We got wiped. Where the hell were you? Yeah, I did tell them to go to hell. I also solved the case. It's solved. All of it.
Detective, it's better if I do that.
He says in a lowered voice.
It's so much better if he does this. 1,000,000 times better.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation.
He thinks of apologizing, but decides against it.
You spent the week with him on this case. What is your take?
Oh no.
On the case?
On Lieutenant Geoffrey Dubois.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although he has not been drinking on the job this week.
See?
1 week.
Then there's the self-flagellation issue. He likes to apologize, profusely, making it sound like he's guilty of at least first-degree murder. It's not a good communication strategy for an
What?
officer. It's just strange, especially in light of his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a true blue moralist, a man of the center, not prone to political outbursts, which is commendable, but also at odds with his behavior. Other still, he is also a full-blown faggot, an ultra-nationalist, woman-hater, and more than a little racist. How he reconciles these 2 points of view, but he is vocal about both.
No, not even a lot though.
And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, something I was not present for. But despite all this, he is a great detective, one of the best I've seen, in fact. He can talk human beings into telling him anything, and he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped working on the case. He is tireless, madly driven. And he solved it, near perfectly. In 1 week we have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator. Locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation. He apprehended a revolutionary brigada who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years. Oh, and he also discovered a new species.
A new species?
A colossal stick insect, 3 meters tall. It's on the island, camouflage as the reeds. It unfolded from them. I did not, unfortunately, get a photo, but I believe it may have been the Insulindian phasmid. I know this sounds fantastic, but I'm a 4 times decorated lieutenant of the RCM. I do not make up encounters with cryptids to spice up my day. I am very, very sane.
I don't doubt you, Lieutenant. If you say it was the Insulindian phasmid, then it was the Insulindian phasmid.
Say nothing.
By God, is it somehow connected to the case?
Detective?
Kim, yes, I believe the pheromone it emits may be responsible for the killer's mental degradation.
The old man was not aware of the phasmid's presence. Exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia, he fell into a stupor after its appearance. He became near catatonic.
So it is connected.
We could order a search. I could get people from EPIS on the island, entomologists, doctors. There must be signs of it in the reeds. If we found the Insulindian phasmid, well, that would be absolutely exceptional. The PR value alone.
There, you need to make your case now. The floor is all yours. He prepared it well.
The phasmid was female. The reeds are its nest. No, it's not female. It's... the killer. The previous head of the Debordor Union was assassinated by our killer. The killer, Lilianovich Dros. We have a strong motive for him.
Lilianovich. A revolutionary matronym.
I don't have time for this. Straight to the motive.
Of course, excuse me. I just thought it was noteworthy.
He killed a mercenary in an act of jealousy. Was that what he said? Induced by the phasmid's semiochemicals. I see.
Jealousy? I thought this Lilianovich was an old man. To have been hiding for 50 years, 70 something?
A strange psychosexual fixation, aggravated possibly by proximity to the phasmid and its chemicals. He himself gave a political reason, said he had killed an enemy combatant. Also, we have a sniper's nest with full view of the room in which the mercenary died, right on the island, and 2 officers on the scene that Mr. Dross confessed to.
It's a clean win.
Oh, it's way more than that.
It's way more than that. I'll win her back with this. I did all I could. Every second was a struggle.
I've never doubted you can pull yourself together and work in bouts. Bouts don't last. I can still smell the booze on the wind.
God damn it. Doesn't it ever leave? It is there, like in your bones or something. It will pass in time.
The previous head of the Debardeur Union was assassinated by our killer.
This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open, in Martinez, where
Oh, no.
Erhardt and Edgar Clare have ears everywhere.
The lieutenant lowers his voice just a
And
little.
eyes, too. Your return from the island must not have gone unnoticed.
Understood, of course.
But a case against Everard would be big.
I would prefer not to partake in anything union related, for political neutrality.
There was also a dead man on the boardwalk. A missing person I found.
Yes, fallen through a gap in the boardwalk, drunk.
How did you know I found
The
him?
body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had Tilbrook and Mullins take care of funeral arrangements and family stuff.
You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This all comes back to us.
Still, good work with the missing person, detective.
It's still a point for you. No denying it.
The phasmid was female. The reeds are its nest.
Female? What makes you think so?
You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female, and the nesting behavior too, I think.
Incredible. Were there eggs in the nest?
Not as far as I could see. There were other things there, though.
I think it reproduces by parthenogenesis.
As in cloning itself? What makes you think so?
It told me. No, I was told so by the other guys. Just a hunch. Observation. But just a hunch.
Interesting. Then it is especially vulnerable to disease. A single strain of bacteria could wipe out the entire species. We're probably talking conservation efforts here.
He looks around, quickly assessing the coast. It had gathered items in its nest, a helmet, a scope, and a passport.
Actually, you know, this would indicate it was a male. This is far from anything in my field, but I think such nests are called bowers. They are for attracting mates.
Yeah, could have been male,
Must
actually.
be robust if it can move a helmet with its limbs.
It trails off, lost in thought. It had mandibles that looked like hair, and it was completely white on the inside.
Yes, but also reed-colored, beige and brown, a little green on the outside. After unfolding from a single stalk, it still retained parts that looked like reed tufts on its limbs.
Incredible. It's a toughie that you don't have a photo. This would look very, very flashy in the papers. None of it says vigilante murderers to me at all. Great PR.
I tried to, but I only got a blur.
Ouch.
We can still work. Cop discovers new species in there. I know a good guy in La Majeste, but only after the École Supérieure people find it. This cannot be done by French people.
It needs to be white coats and glassware for this fly. We need professionals.
He looks at the reeds.
You're doing good here. Perhaps only for a moment, but still.
Shut up, suggestion! You failed me at every point.
Quit while you're ahead? Or no?
So, what do you say? Wanna take this hot shit back? Point to yourself.
I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder.
He shrugs.
So I have to. Jude?
Anything that ends the trial is okay with me.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go.
Okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go.
Wait. I have a few questions before we go about who I am.
The man looks westward, impatiently, jingling his car keys in his pocket.
Who am I?
Are you? You're a gym teacher, Harry.
What?
Well, obviously you're not a gym teacher anymore about.
But before.
Before you were a cop, you were a gym teacher in Coron. It's getting really cold outside. Should we maybe...
That does explain a lot.
Harry, it explains everything. The running around, the jumping, the bicep girth, your inexplicable facial hair.
A collection of fallen sportswear I've amassed.
Some of your more old school social views. A lot of your interaction with Kuno.
Also, this guy. Just everything about this guy.
Physical instrument, yeah. Why did I join the RCM
The
then?
regular. You found some chick. She inspired you to fight the big fight. Be more than you are. All that.
You, every morning, walking from Voyager Road to teach gym. She, leaving for the academy with her spring coat on. The air filled with the smell of smoke and raspberries, and incredible hope. An ocean full of hope.
When was this? When was I a gym
In your
teacher?
20s or late 20s. You've really let yourself go since then.
He looks you over. You said in Coron. I was a gym teacher
Yes,
there.
Tao Gym in Coron. I believe that's the term. Tao Gym at a high school. You were a high school gym teacher.
The smell of sweat and glue. The worn floorboards. Coudon is just east of Jamrock. It was a short walk every morning to the baseball field or the sports building.
High school. Harry, your goings on with Kuno, Andre, Assel, the whole thing on the ice. That's why you are so juvie.
His smirk suggests barely contained laughter.
Okay, I see now. Conclude.
I knew it. I knew no normal human being can run like that. He's an honest-to-God gym teacher.
Why? Why am I like this?
It's not a mystery. Some chick fucked you over. Also, you were drunk.
You really went with it too. really maximize the damage.
Some chick. Ooh.
Dora something. Dora Ingelund? Yeah, you mentioned her name.
Not Dora Dubois.
So we weren't even married.
No one is married anymore. This is Revachol.
When was this?
God, I don't know. 6 years ago? She was way before my time.
6 years and you haven't gotten over it. What the hell is wrong with you?
6 years?
No, it was 6. Like ancient. It's an old man thing. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Dora Ingelund really tore you a new one. A big one.
What it says that he said is, yeah, or 7. You're not doing too good there. It's an old man thing. Yeah, okay, there we go. Who was she?
Incredibly bangable.
No, I mean, what did she do?
She was incredibly fuckable. A beautiful bourgeois woman. Wayfish. Like a whalekin, basically. I've only seen a picture. But it's obvious you formed a real spiritual connection with how pretty she was. One you never recuperated from.
Look, the sun is about to go down. It's time to go.
I think she taught in the Académie des Arts, east of the river. Way east. Hard to say which came first. The middle-class chick or the drink. Egg and the chicken kind of thing. My point is, you need to see a psychiatrist about this shit. Not a psychologist. Several degrees harder. Is there something harder than a psychiatrist? A forensic psychiatrist? Go talk to that.
In other words, he's heard enough about this.
We don't have time to waste here. We've been here for like 2 months. Lieutenant Kitsuragi, what will you do now?
Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all these. Then I will have a serious talk with my captain.
About what?
Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Revachol.
He pulls up his collar and looks around. The cold spring light reflected in the lenses of his glasses.
I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate.
Want to do that at Station 41?
Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of 2 captains with my doom-mongering.
No, I meant investigate. Come work in Precinct 41.
Work with Price? I'm flattered, but I don't know if I...
Would fit in. Am crazy enough. Can take the stress. He doesn't know how to finish the sentence. This truly came as a surprise to him. Not a bad one, but he's at a loss.
Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered.
I would have to tie things up in GRIH first. But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor.
The lieutenant turns very serious on it.
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to. Mountains, even.
I do like the sound of that.
He returns her smile.
He's really considering it.
I'm ready.
Good.
She looks at you, then... Quick mare.
Fuck it. Let's go. Tron brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock.
The great district hums in the falling rain. A chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls, fire traps as far as the eye can see. From Main Street to Grand Couronne, from Precinct 41 to Boogie Street, forking into the rain-swept horizon. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. On Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time. Dawson? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstein? No. Vicmere? Yes. Dubois? Of course. Really? Nix Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Potomac Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in the office, and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through. When he does, he'll side with the RCM. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. Minnow, of course.
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now?
I think we finished the game. We did solve the case. Gotta shake his hand. No, I thought I was gonna shake his hand with my metal gloves. They have good stats, dude. What do you want? Yeah, let's There's no skip button! What were you thinking? I gotta take a piss. I thought he was gonna like start showing some kind of scene here or something, but is there anything there? Can't see. No, it's just a bunch of goop. John Neal Hasney was playing Piss F-word. I don't know if you can say that on Twitch. Like at all. It is a garbage website. Kuno's dad? Spoilers! I didn't even know Kuno's dad was a thing. You hired someone specifically to be the Insulindian Phasmid? I hope it was just someone on the team. I think it probably was. Oh my god. Chinese translators. Unskippable credits is narcissism. That's all it is. No one gives a shit. If they want to know who you are, then they'll look it up. Like you go being on the screen, like who cares? What does it mean? Is there gonna be something after this? Just show me what it is. But yeah, I don't know. I like the game. The only thing I didn't like was that the solution felt too locked. Like it felt like you're supposed to get to the slaughter and you're not supposed to be able to find him before then. Which is weird. The voice actor was, or the narrator, not great. The bugs that made me almost rage quit, not great. But the fact that dialogue choices matter and they also put effort into making other things matter, and like everything you did mattered in some way, even if it was just like, you know, Kitsuragi saying something, or there at the end there where we talked to our team. Where they kind of go through a lot of the things you've been doing. What happened? Well, we finished the game. We found the murderer on the island, and we went back and found backup, and then we arrested him, I guess. The ending was a little bit anticlimactic, I must admit. You was right? No, you were not right. It did not just end. We solved the case. Well, go on for a while and then end. That is literally every game. So, I don't... Okay. Alright. Is it just gonna be the main menu now, or am I... Yeah, that's a little bit annoying. Could have shown me something more. But, that's that. I'm not sure what to do. What we're gonna play next. With whoever, whenever, have some kind of effect on something. Yeah. Depending on what exactly you mean, but like the fact that we accepted some quest from Everard Clare, the fat guy in the container. That came up at the end. And the fact that we became an ultra nationalist racist also came up. So yeah, a lot of the things that you did mattered. But like I said, the ending could have been a little bit better. Just felt like it. Like the guy out on the island that we found, he was a little bit like when you get to the end in a Final Fantasy game and you beat the boss, and then another bad guy appears as like the boss's second form, and you're okay, where the fuck are you? It was a little bit like that. But I think we could have gotten more info out of things. Because we let Vaje go, the girl on the roof. That was important. Didn't find my gun. We didn't stop the mass murder in the middle of the street where we like shot all of the bad guys. So I don't know. But I think it will. It's a little bit early, but I think I'll end the stream here now. Just take the evening, maybe do some programming, figure out what to do tomorrow. I'm not sure. Just play Bannerlord or Battle Brothers or something. I don't even remember what I had planned after this. I mean, I have a bunch of games, but I kind of didn't want to start another CRPG. We have Darkwood, No Man's Sky, The Long Dark, Balloons, Phantom Doctrine, but that's, yeah, XCOM. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. So, until then, have a good night. Bye-bye.